evening.
It is my pleasure to welcome families, friends, teachers, and staff, our current Nhs members, and all our new inductees to the 2021 Notre Dame Gibbons Honor Society Induction ceremony to the Untitled Chapter of the National Honor Society. Today is one of those times that we are here celebrating the accomplishments of our students. But we are also here to realize the impact that positive, caring, meaningful relationships have in our success and ability to achieve. On behalf of today's inductees, I would like to say thank you for being here and thank you for your own commitment to the National Honor Society's 4 pillars: character, scholarship, service, and leadership. Next, I would like to recognize and thank our Nhs faculty advisor, Mr. Gibbons. Your dedication to this organization, mentorship of our students, and willingness to serve are all critically important in how we go back here today, and in the experiences and outcomes for these students. You give your time, advice, perspective, kindness, and insight as you collectively set the example and stage for these students to grow, mature, and make a difference in their surroundings. Your ability to empower and guide are also greatly appreciated and evident in the collective success of the students in this room today. We thank you for that support. But let us begin our evening as we begin all things here at Notre Dame Gibbons with a prayer led by our school chaplain, Sir Father Leo Mark.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Dear Lord, some 15 plus years ago, you blessed our world with these 18 wonderful now teenagers. They entered the world of violence and wars, chaos and confusion. And this past year, one up in a pandemic. But you guided them through all those turmoils. When they came into the world, you gave each of them a spiritual baton, a baton of faith and hope, forgiveness and love, a baton of the qualities that identify what the National Honor Society is all about. They have carried that baton well, and tonight we recognize their achievements. We know that you have blessed them with all these qualities and gifts, and they have not let you down, nor their families, nor the school. Tonight we recognize them. Thank you, our God, for them and their gifts, and ask you to bless them with continued success, happiness, and holiness. And please let them know how much they are loved as they bring honor to their families, to the world, and to the school. Let them know how much you and we love them. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, Father. As we begin our ceremony, I invite you to stand and go to the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain seated.
Oh, say, can you see how worthy light was so proudly and whose reassurance and bright stars through the sky, o'er the rainbows words again we stream, and around his thoughts were seen. Black was still there. Oh, say not that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Hannah. At this time, I invite Mr. Jones to join us to share his thoughts on the children's education.
So I feel honored and flattered to speak for this wonderful occasion. Your achievements in the realms of scholarship, leadership, community service, and character are being honored here tonight by your induction into this prestigious society. And such an honor such as this is a wonderful way for the school and community to recognize and celebrate the choices and sometimes the sacrifices you have made. But I believe that what you should make for you and your parents the most proud is not the actual honor itself, but what we had to do together. As Ralph Emerson said, the reward of a thing well done is to have done it. Any recognition is just the icing on the cake, not to be expected, but definitely to be enjoyed. However, I challenge you not to rest on your laurels, but to continue to strive to even loftier goals. The four requirements for membership in which you have excelled, scholarship, leadership, community service, and character, were not chosen at random. They are the core of fulfilled and fulfilling life. The most important thing to remember is that each of these characteristics are the sum of many individual decisions. They embody a positive attitude backed by purpose. The only way to achieve your purpose is to take small actions every day. In the end, they all add up. My hope is for you is that you will cultivate this attitude backed by a purpose in your own life. Scholarship is much more than just getting straight A's. It is a lifelong love of learning. In the end, it is a sum of small choices. Each time you decide you want to learn something, the experience will be so important the next time it becomes easier. Soon, learning becomes a habit. At that point, your desire to learn makes getting A's easier while taking the focus off grades. The knowledge can still be hard to gain, but knowing you mastered a difficult subject is an awesome reward. Suddenly, the world around you becomes rich, full of learning opportunities. Leadership. It's not about being elected or appointed to office. The office does not teach someone how to be a leader. Leadership is an attitude cultivated over time. Are you one to stand up for what you believe in and face the music, even when that music happens to be unpleasant? Do you have a purpose and follow that purpose to get to the ends you desire? Do you have a vision? These are all questions that true leaders answer in the affirmative. But how do you become a leader? Each small decision you make takes you one step closer. Remember, the goal is not to get power, but to get your vision and your purpose across. Leaders without vision can be like just driving in a strange town without a road. You're going to wind up somewhere, you just might not be the best part of it. Many see community service as a means to an end. Some might see it as a way to get service points while socializing, while others may view it as unfortunate and often inconvenient necessity of high school life. But is that true community service? Once again, true community service is an attitude. Are you doing it for the right reasons? I'm not saying there won't be Saturday mornings when you'd rather sleep your heart out than eat your heart out. What I'm talking about is at the end, when it's all done, and you once get well rested, you can look back and realize that you did something worthwhile, that you helped your fellow man in some way. Remember, John Donne said, "No man is an entire island of himself." Finally, character. If there is any one thing that is evidenced by your daily choices, it is your character. I truly believe what Thomas Foley said. The measure of a man's real character is what he would do if he knew he would never be found out. What do you do when no one's around? The teacher steps out of the room for a minute while you're taking a test. You look exactly where your notes, so the answer to question 23 is, you look, you have minimal chance to be caught. How you answer that is a key to your true character. For while being honest and honorable when others are watching is important, being true to yourself is tantamount. And in the end, these private day-to-day decisions will eventually reveal your true character to the world. All in all, are making the tough choices worth it? Yes. While it would be easier to slide through life without purpose, without a goal, it would not be fulfilled. Only by setting difficult goals and achieving them can we find true self-worth. One final thing, each person's goals are different, and what comes easy to one may be difficult for another. Therefore, do not slash others' dreams. This is a surefire way to know that you are working towards fulfilling them. In conclusion, I congratulate you for this honor tonight. You're truly the best of the best. Enjoy yourself, and remember, as Lord Jesus said, life is a promise fulfilled.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbons. And now we will selection from Nhs Emblem, Gibbons.
But if you want to sing out. And if you want to be free, be free. Because there's so many other things to be, know that there are. And if you want to live high, There's a million ways to go. Know that they're all. You can do what you want. The opportunity is all. And if you find a new way, you can do it today. You know true. Easy. Only to know. But if you want to say yes, say yes. And if you want to say no, say no. There's a million ways to go. Know that there are. And if you want me, be. And if you want me, be. There's a million things to do. Know that there are. You do what you want. The opportunity is all. Every time I do it, you can do it today. You can make it all true. You gotta do. See, won't be love. But if you want to say yes, say yes. And if you want to say no, say no. There's a million ways to go. Know that there are. But if you want to be, be. And if you want to be, be. There's a million things to do. Know that there are. Well, if you want to sing out, sing out. And if you want to be free, there's a million things to be. Know that there are. 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 Thank you, James. In the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path, only a trail. The words of Emerson could not be any more accurate in this moment or more applicable to tonight's guest speaker. She has desired to not only create a path where there is not, but to leave a trail for others to follow as well. Tonight, I have the distinct honor of introducing Ms. Karen Drago, a proud graduate of Notre Dame School. She embodies the spirit of a Golden Knight and lives the four principles of the National Honor Society: scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Her love for our school and the larger community have been a part of who we are for many years. There is no way that can give her service and dedication justice in a short introductory speech. Ms. Drago was a member of our school board and has taken an active role within our community over the years. I argue it is people like her who never leave upon graduation, but become an essential part of who
who we are. Her willingness to help is a testament to her character. Her leadership in our community as a judge is inspiring. One of her signature programs that she developed through the city was called Drug Court. The purpose was to allow people to get the help that they needed so that they become productive members of society. Her willingness to help those who found themselves at a time of need is a true testament to her character. She reminds us that leadership takes courage, a sense of direction, and a willingness to sometimes refer to those around us. Ms. Drago is the epitome of what it means to be a member of the National Honor Society. She is an honorary member of the Notre chapter today and always. As you celebrate this moment with friends and family, I hope that her example and dedication to our four principles of scholarship, service, leadership, and character inspire you to use those traits on a daily basis to make a difference. Without further ado, it is my distinct honor to present Ms. Karen Drago to offer her reflection and insights on this most special occasion.
Introduction. My name is Nhs Emblem, and I'm a county court judge here in Citizenship. Prior to my taking the county court bench, I served as a 19th Street Court judge. And most importantly, I'm a graduate of Notre High School. Let me begin by extending my sincerest congratulations to the National Honor Society inductees, current members, and their parents. What an accomplishment, particularly in light of the trying times we are currently experiencing. It does not escape me that this segment of your life's journey is particularly challenging, and you should all be very, very proud of yourself that you have been able to successfully navigate through these troubling times. I admire your tenaciousness and recognize the sacrifices that many of the families here have made in order for their child to be participating in tonight's ceremony. Also, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that the National Honor Society has been in existence for 100 years. It was started in 1921. By all accounts, this highly regarded organization is still comprised of exceptional individuals who continue to give back to their communities long after they graduated. The core mission of the National Honor Society is to elevate a school's commitment to scholarship, service, leadership, and character. It is naive to believe that the National Honor Society haphazardly put this group together. Rather, I believe that much time, effort, and great minds drafted the blueprints for this highly regarded organization. I also believe that the founders of this organization realized that schools needed to cultivate these particular four traits in our adolescent population because these traits are the building blocks for a successful journey through life. Tonight, I'm going to briefly touch upon each of these four traits. When we hear the word scholarship, I am sure that, like me, I immediately think of outstanding grades and the doors they open for financial assistance. But if you really think about it, this task of attaining good grades is a testament to an individual's love for learning. The more you allow yourself to learn, the easier it becomes. It is like a good habit that you can benefit from long after you graduate. Learning helps you gain new experiences, and it trains your brain to handle a wide range of challenges that you will face from time to time. Learning throughout your life can improve your self-esteem and increase your satisfaction with your life. It can be argued that knowledge is a cornerstone for making good decisions. Knowledge is powerful. Our communities are able to thrive when it is comprised of individuals who have the skill set to make good choices. Our decisions affect our families, friends, neighbors, acquaintances, and even strangers. It affects our quality of life. Now, the trait of leadership is not just bestowed upon elected officials and their ability to govern the masses. Leadership is within all of us. We will exercise leadership on a day-to-day basis throughout our lifetime. It will happen at school, in your workplace, in your home, and even when you're out and about running errands on Saturday. Leadership runs the gambit of making good choices every day, following your dreams, recognizing others' dreams, and allowing loved ones, fellow workers, and friends to attain their goals. Exercising sound leadership practices involves insight. It involves knowledge, and it demands making morally grounded decisions, even when that decision may make it very uncomfortable for you. Never forget, we are all different in so many ways, yet we all have the ability to lead by example. The third pillar is community service. If you think about it, community service not only benefits the individuals or organizations in need, but the benefits extolled on the volunteer is priceless. Community service develops an increased sense of social responsibility and the importance for giving back and helping others. It also provides the venue to apply academic learning to real-life events, and it helps students find their passions and interests that may lead to a career choice that they may not have otherwise considered. Community service provides an avenue to serving God, serving others, and spreading the message of God's love in a very hands-on way. It really is a beautiful thing. Again, the more community service you perform, the easier it becomes, and hopefully you will be giving back for years to come. Now finally, when talking about an individual's character, I have to admit that I was at a loss for words. I was really not sure how to define character. It can be good or bad character, strong or weak. You can have no character or possess a lot of character. All I know is that we all strive to be individuals of sound character, just like we all want to strive to be a person of honor. For me, it is hard to put into words. Maybe the best way to describe it is by an example. Let's say you're checking out of a store. The cashier owes you $5 in change. Mistakenly, the cashier hands you a $50 bill. You could easily pocket the money, and no one would know the $45 discrepancy was due to your dishonesty. Instead, you immediately tell the cashier of the mistake and return the money. Now, you're a person of character. This is the type of character that we want to emulate. Making decisions that are right but may have adverse repercussions for you is the kind of character we should possess. Also, recognizing the importance of helping others and giving back to your community is the kind of character that we can take pride in. Wrapping this up, I have to say that after 17 years on the bench, I saw firsthand how hard life can get for some individuals. Life is a journey with many bumps in the road. We will not always make the correct choices, but even when you falter, you can correct it, learn from it, and successfully move on. In my estimation, it is the individuals that can learn from their mistakes and become a better person for it is the individual that should be most admired. You are the brightest of the brightest. You have the skill set to carve out a fulfilling and wonderful life for yourself. You have the world at your fingertips. Pursue your dreams. I wish you continued good health and the very best in all of your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Emblem. At this time, I invite Trinity Cooper to begin the keynote portion of this evening's ceremony.
Members of the National Honor Society excel academically and participate in school-sponsored as well as community and charitable organizations. They demonstrate high standards of scholarship, leadership, service, and character, the main pillars that represent the core of National Honor Society membership. These standards will be represented through a candlelight ceremony this evening. The flaming torch represents the emblem of the Honor Society. I invite Brennan Lavarge to talk about the Nhs Emblem.
The torch from the earliest of times has been the emblem of knowledge. Unlighted, it has no power to lead the guide. It is to no effect until the touch of a match ignites it with a vital and beautiful flame. Similarly, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the inspiration that are buried in the great treasure of books and hidden in the minds of men and women are valueless until, by faithful study, we unlock these treasure houses and make them give up their store for the use of mankind. As man has long lighted a torch to guide him into dark places, so all men and women who seek truth must be held firm and true to the purposes of life and the virtues represented in the motto of the society, which is, light is a symbol of truth. At this time, we invite Thomas Verbicki to help with this evening's candle lighting and Megan Kinzel to talk about scholarship.
The first requirement for admissions to the National Honor Society is scholarship. The flame of the first candle signifies wisdom and high scholarship. Nhs members have inquiring minds, a capacity for conscientious work habits, and an eagerness for knowledge. The members have been chosen first because of their high scholastic aptitude and faithfulness to academia. At this time, we invite Taylor Van Auken to talk about leadership.
The second requirement for admission to the National Honor Society is leadership. It represents a member's ability to stand upon his or her own initiative as leader in life. While leading, however, they must grow by listening to those who are superior, by heeding the advice of those who are wiser, and by reading and studying the words of those who are more learned. The price of leadership is sacrifice, a willingness to yield one's own personal interests for the interest of others, and a willingness to sacrifice one's own time and personal preferences for the sake of others. At this time, we invite Lauren Coleman to talk about service.
The members of the Nhs constantly strive for other toward their own measure. Help those less fortunate and serve their school, family, community, and country in every way possible. At this time, we invite Sandra to talk about prayer.
The fourth flame represents the purity of character. National Honor Society recognizes the development of good character in the individual as that of supreme importance. The student whose character is expressed through his or her personality works with a purpose, concern, and dedication, deepening his or her mind in order to accept new ideas. Each flame has its own place in the life of a student, but each light is small and flickering by itself. It needs the lending of others to bestow the full, rich flame. At this time, we invite Juliana Tortello to talk about citizenship.
The fifth flame represents citizenship. The student who demonstrates citizenship understands the importance of civic involvement, has a high regard for freedom, justice, and democracy, and demonstrates mature participation and responsibility through involvement with such activities as scouting, community organizations, and school clubs.
At this point, I invite Mr. Jones to join me so that we can induct our newest members to the Notre chapter of the National Honor Society. Please hold your applause to the end. All panelists have met. Just a few additional guidelines for this year. Please remain seated. You are welcome to take photos from the seat of Mr. South and graciously agree to take photos of all of our new inductees, and then we'll share your families. Students, when your name is called, remember you're going to come up, take a pen from the mug, sign the induction book, and deposit the mug so we'll all sanitize. Right, then you are going to light your candle. You'll lastly receive your certificate in off the table. We will return to your table and remain standing until all inductees have been called. Our 2021 National Honor Society inductees. Ms. Katie Alacon. Ms. Nhs Emblem. Ms. Catherine Wallace. Ms. Marissa Ferrer. Mr. Michael Garcia. Ms. Eva Giordano. Miss Ava Holloway. Mr. William Jones. Mr. Pietro Benicio. Miss Maya Rogers. Miss Ella Sawitsky. Miss Gianna Trainer. Miss Amaryllis Valdez. Miss Sophia Burdick. Miss Adriana Wade. Mr. Nathaniel Wiley. Mr. Noah Wiley. Mr. Benjamin Nhs. I have to tell you, this is the most beautiful sight to see here. So the most beautiful thing that we all see in a moment when we turn around to applaud. Please take your room. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2021 Untitled Chapter members of the National Honor Society. Now the first test. On the back of your program is a pledge. Please serve. First story, not Mr. Wicks. I state your name. Please repeat after me. I, being aware of the honor which is being bestowed upon me by my election to membership in the National Honor Society, to hereby pledge loyalty to this organization. It shall be my earnest purpose to give unsparingly of my time and energy toward the promotion of all school activities. I will strive to be at all times a model student and never knowingly bring reproach upon my school. I pledge myself to uphold the high purpose of this society to which I have been elected, striving every way, by word and deed, to make its ideals the ideals of my school and of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I present to you the newest members of our class. Go ahead and light your candles, guys. As we conclude our ceremony, I would like to share some brief thoughts. In life, there are a few moments that stand out over all the others. Tonight is one such day. We are celebrating your commitment to academics, service, and social awareness. You are now a part of a tradition that recognizes excellence and encourages a lifelong commitment to service. The candles that were lit during tonight's ceremony are symbolic of the light that you bring to your family, friends, school, and community. Never let that light fade, and may it serve as a constant reminder that your light shines in the darkness. In the words of Fred Rogers, when I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. You are the helpers in a world that often feels scary. However, I know that with continued guidance from the Holy Spirit, you will light our world on fire to bring peace and healing. You are the shining examples to the Notre Dame Bishop Gibbons community. Continue to make us proud. At this time, I would like to invite Nhs Emblem to share our reflection on the words.
The rose is probably the favorite flower for most people, and has always been a symbol of love and beauty. A rose is a symbol of life. When you hold a rose, you will immediately notice two things about it: the thorns on the stem and the beauty and fragrance of the bud. The very same is true of life. There will be some days when everything falls into place, when we do what we should be doing, when God is visible in others and we find it easy to love Him. But there are also going to be days when everything and everyone will seem to turn on us. There will be times when we will have to deal with death or being separated from a good friend. There will be times of illness and emptiness. It would be wonderful if you and I could be promised heaven on earth, but that is not possible. Jesus experienced both the cross and the crown in His life. Your life and mine will be the same. Times of happiness and pain, the bud and flower of the rose. We have grown. We have impressed others with our faith and our goodness. But what about tomorrow? Will you and I bloom or wither? The choice is ours.
It is important to remember that all your achievements in life are possible as a result of your hard work and the support of others. I would ask each inductee, as you leave, to take a rose and a 4 cookies. To give to someone who helped you reach this milestone. May this flower serve as a token of your spoken and unspoken gratitude to all those who have guided you. Before we conclude, I would like to thank everyone for making this evening possible, especially Mr. Jones, Mr. Moran, Mr. South, Mr. Mouse, Mr. Harrigan, Mrs. Harrigan, Mrs. Baldwin, Father Leo, and our guest speaker, Ms. Sharon Greger. And a special thank you to all of our families and to our inductees, and of course, our current members who helped us. Thank you for joining us. Have a safe week.